I thought it was going to be a tough matchup, but it came down to right off the bat, we got a Devin Booker game in the first quarter.
Big Dick Booker.
And this is a narrative that we've been talking about as of late. Devin Booker scored 16 points in the first quarter about 3 or 4 games ago. And we're like, oh, yeah, remember this? Remember when Devin Booker used to be the tone setter on offense? Gee, golly gosh, if we did this a little more often, maybe the Suns would be front runners for the game and we wouldn't have to play from behind. And lo and behold, comes out against the New Orleans Pelicans in that first quarter, scores 25 total points. 25. He goes 9 of 11 from the field, 3 of 3 from beyond the arc, 4 of 4 from the free throw line, and adds 3 assists in there as well. So, I mean, if those are just 2-pointers, right, that's 6 points on top of 25. The Suns score 41 in the first, and Devin Booker's directly responsible for 31 of them. The Pelicans scored 28 points, Suns Geek. So Booker comes out, is absolute dynamite, and like Anthony Rawlings says in the chat, he goes, Suns Geek, Devin freaking Booker. Do I need to say more?
Yeah, we were talking backstage. It's like the only important stat about tonight was Devin Booker's 52 points. I literally wrote down a whole bunch of notes, and they were all about Devin Booker here, and they're literally all over the place. It was Booker's.
Let me do this before you start reading all that, okay? Normally, Suns Geek does reaction videos on his channel. Here's your reaction video right now. Snip this later. Suns Geek, reaction. Devin Booker scores 52 points. What do you got?
If this man is not an NBA All-Star, it is a travesty. The coaches know. The media should know that Devin freaking Booker is an All-Star. If that first quarter alone didn't prove it, he had 25 of the Suns' first 41 points. Are you kidding me? And like I said, I wrote down a whole bunch of stats. It was his 9th, 30th half, like throughout his career, I believe.
Wow.
He was 11 for 18 in the first half. He had 32 points. It was his 21st, like 20-point quarter or something. There's like these notes are all over the place because Book was, setting records tonight. It was just incredible, man. And I don't know what the Pelicans did or said to him, especially back in 2022 of December, because he had 58 and then obviously 52 tonight. But keep saying it to him, keep booing him, keep doing whatever you need to do every time he's in New Orleans or playing against the Pelicans, because damn, he loves to score on them.
Yeah, there's something about playing against the Pelicans that Devin Booker just gets up for. Like I said, 58 points last time he played against them. And then if you go all the way back to that playoff series against the Pelicans, right? Now, granted, he missed 3 of those games. Game 1, he had 25 points. Game 2, he had 31 points, right? But he only played 24 minutes in that and scored 31 points. That's the game where he got injured. Missed the next 3, scored 13 in the last one against them. But there's something about playing New Orleans that Devin Booker just gets up for. And certain players have that against certain teams. We know that. And I'm looking up real quick his all-time against New Orleans. Let's see. He averages 23.8 points. It's not the most. I think Chicago's the most, 27.9. But it's a team that he definitely gets up for. And to your point, there's some frustration out there if you take into account the fan vote in the NBA's all-star voting, right? Like, we all know it's a farce. We all know that anything that you do relative to fan voting is purely a popularity contest. And Devin Booker is the point that I was making either the last podcast, the one prior with Matthew, is Devin Booker's only played for the Phoenix Suns. So he's not going to have 3 or 4 organizations behind him and fan bases that have supported him for a period of time. And even though he's left, they still have an affinity for him, right? Like Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's 3rd overall in all-star voting for the front court in the Western Conference. As well he should be. He's killing it. But Devin Booker's been doing a pretty goddamn good job this year. And I get it. It's deep with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and, Luka Doncic. If he positionless, that guy's a point guard. So there's some quality players. So it's going to come down to the coaches. It's going to come down to the players. And nights like tonight, going for 25 points in the first half. First quarter. 32 in the first half.
I'm getting mixed up too because it was that
just
crazy.
A lot of numbers.
Exactly. Yeah, a lot of numbers.
A lot of numbers from Devin Booker tonight. And what I appreciate is the manner in which he did it relative to the toughness of shots, hitting 3-pointers, I think he ended 6 of 11 from beyond the arc, which if you don't count garbage time, that's how many 3-pointers the Pelicans hit the entire game. Like I walked away from the game. It was 123-99. I'm like, damn, 20-point victory, 24-point victory. And
Didn't
then
one of those threes get taken away too?
yeah, one got taken away. God, a double nickel just looks nice. If he had 55, it would have been so nice. But they gave up, I think, a 10-0 run at the very end of the quarter to allow it to be a 123-109. So I had to take the word drubbing out of the bright side of the Sun.com game recap. A drubbing because they only won by like 14. But I mean, you look at his fall away jumper and his attacking the basket, hitting the threes. We got to see more first quarter Book, don't we?
Yes, and you know what? I'll talk about first quarter Book in a second. But we need to see first quarter Suns more often because I'm sure we're going to talk about it later.
Points.
But this, in a way, was sort of a team effort, even though Book was carrying us. And I know we're going to talk about KD later, but yes, first quarter Book needs to happen more often, and it needs to be consistent, if you will. And it really just all around, man, just with pace and energy and just the way Book was attacking, you know what I mean? Like there was just something different in him tonight. And you kind of mentioned it, like a couple of those like fadeaways and everything. He had a couple of those tonight. Yeah. Him just finding his spots, sort of mismatches at times. It didn't matter if it was Dyson Daniels guarding him or Larry Nance or you name it. Like anybody who was in front of him, Booker was going to attack. And we need to see that more often. I mean, obviously, it's not going to happen every game. That would be incredible. That'd be like 2K stuff if it was. But it needs to happen more. And I'm just so happy for Devin Booker, man. I say this so many times on my channel, and I've said it so many times on your channel. And I mean this as a compliment. It just doesn't surprise me with Devin Booker, man. Like we've been watching him for years. This is what Devin Booker does. But at the same time, I say that, but I was tweeting stuff like, oh, Devin Booker is ridiculous and Devin Booker this. Like, it does surprise me, but it doesn't surprise me. I'm not making any sense, but you know what I mean.
No, I know exactly what you mean. It doesn't surprise you that he has the ability and the capacity to score at the rate that he did tonight. We just see it a lot less because he's taken on a different role this season. Yep. He's averaging a career high in assists. I believe it was 7.8 entering tonight. So he is focused on facilitating, getting Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal the ball so they can get their offense going, and then trying to learn where to pick and choose his spots to be an effective scorer. And tonight, against a team which he has shown an affinity for scoring in bunches against, this was his turn. This is where he's like, listen, I'm going to be the one who goes out there. I'm going to be the one who leads the way. I'm going to take 11 shots in the first quarter where Bradley Beal takes 4, Kevin Durant takes 5. Their combined doesn't even equal what Devin Booker took in the first, because Booker knows that, hey, this is a team that I cook. You know, like when the Suns play the Blazers are a team perennially that Kevin Durant just owns.
Yeah.
So you're not surprised when Kevin Durant's like, yo, Booker, you focus on facilitation, try to get me the ball, because it's a team that no matter who is opposing relative to players or coaching, it's something about that jersey. I like to see it, and I like to score over it. And there's certain teams where you pick and choose those. The fun thing for the Suns is we're going to start to see those teams for Bradley Beal here coming up, because the Suns are getting ready to go on an Eastern Coast swing, right? Like I think they got next 2 games are at home. They got the Pacers and they got the Bulls. These are teams that Bradley Beal plays a lot against. And when we take that East Coast trip, like those might be some Bradley Beal games, because he's like, oh shit, we playing the Hornets. The Hornets are a team I own perennially, so it's my turn to go off. And that's what is scary about this big three. With the complementary pieces around them, they're really starting to gel.
Sounds good. Appreciate it.